All right, so thank you everyone for being a part of my presentation. So before I start showing you what I've actually got on my slide, I just want to start by saying that my primary goal with this training was to get a certificate. And of course, along the way, I do like a refresher of the things that I knew from a long time ago and had forgotten, but I'm going back with so much more. So I just want to put this out there. The first thing that I remember day one vividly, where we had like the holy grail or like the scaffolding of our entire course, the IPA chart. And what really stays with me is the way it was simplified. The fact that, by the end of the class, I didn't really have to spend any time in self-study because, Krish, you broke it down beautifully by saying that these are the 12, monophthongs, the diphthongs, the total sounds, and the mini presentations. And I remember mentioning this earlier as well because the repetition was so very helpful. So for me, this set the tone for the rest of the course. And it was fantastic, a great beginning. I also mentioned this earlier, the IPA chart was always something that I would look at and say, okay, I know this, but it's very confusing, and now it's not anymore. So thank you for that. Moving on, I loved the activities with the monophthongs, the diphthongs, and of course the consonants. And I couldn't help myself. I had to put a picture of Katapa there. So I'll start with the monophthongs first. Again, the simplicity of teaching, the fact that there were pairs, the fact that we did drills, the fact that we repeated, we made words, we found, the sound in words, we did reading, how to articulate the sounds. I must say, with the diphthong, which again was an area that I generally found difficult, I loved the way this was introduced with, look at the pairs and look at what's common. That really stayed with me. It made it so much easy. And I say this, again and again about it being easy only because it was a great takeaway for me for learning. And I know now what's expected from me as a trainer to make it easy, no matter what the concept is. Of course, we've got katapa there and the exasperated sounds. And, just saying it right, katapa adds so much finesse to the way we speak. And what I'm taking away from there is the fact that now we are language doctors and we need to say it right, irrespective of what people think, which was a great takeaway for me. Besides that, I must say there were so many pearls of wisdom along the way. There were so many things that, Krish, you kept telling us. The intrusions, where the schwa falls, back chaining method. To me, I'm really going to make sure that I use them, and I'm extremely grateful for the way this was taught. The next thing, moving on from here, my most enjoyed activity is the transcription and the phonemic crossword. It felt like, the crescendo of a musical concert at the end of it. It was difficult. It was very fulfilling to do. And it cemented my knowledge of, everything that we covered before. I love the limericks, the boy from Troy. It may appear very simple, but I know what it's doing. It's just reinforcing learning, which was great. The listing of the words with corresponding sounds, we did it so many times for so many sounds, and it was super helpful. So these were the activities I thoroughly enjoyed. Moving on, the lessons from the PDF, the manner and the place of articulation. I know that, there are certain times where you can get the sound right very quickly, and there are certain times where you really need to know how I am required to articulate, whether it's bite your B's and kiss your W's or so many other sounds. And this is something that would be very helpful. It was very helpful for me, for sure. It's going to be very helpful with the trainings that I conduct. Again, the fact that it has activities for every phoneme, the fact that there is so much of repetition, I can tell that the PDF may appear simple, but it's not. There is a lot of research. There's a lot of thought that's gone into this, and it's a very effective way of training. So it's going to be something that I have with me all the time. Besides that, it was easy to follow, so which was, a great thing. It just shows that not everything has to be complicated. It can be simplified. So that was great. Besides that, my key takeaways is how you structure a course, especially for voice and accent, make it simple, have activities, do a lot of repetition. Something that Krish, you repeated, I don't know how many times. Go back to the IPHR, go back to Cambridge Dictionary. They're going to be like lifelong friends now. Being, engaging, having interactive sessions. There were so many times where, we would probably get confused with the sound. And I think I would like to say here that Krish, you really have a ear for picking up mistakes or errors with sounds. You'll catch it, you'll make sure that we repeat it until we get it right without it being something that makes you uncomfortable. It's in a very supportive manner, which was really great. Unlearning, a lot of things unlearned. Bells, it's not bells, it's bells. The oor sound, I said that incorrectly for such a long time. So the unlearning was a key part of my journey, and something that I will always remember, because as we progress, it's important to know that you still have to sometimes unlearn a bit to move forward. My future upskilling plan is, of course, to use the Cambridge Veritas dashboard, the website, the tools that are available, do a TESOL to teach, so that I can apply the knowledge that I have gained. And yeah, that is what I intend to do. And lastly, thank you very much. Krish, I put this particularly for you. Teaching is the art of making difficult things seem easy, because you've done that. And I really want to say thank you for everything that you shared. There were so many things that you shared along the way, words of wisdom, look out for this sound, tips and tricks. And I would just call them words of wisdom, to be honest. And the other thing I'd like to say is, to everyone in this room, the one thing I deeply respect is not only wanting to improve ourselves, but wanting to do right by our students. And I see that in all of us. So thank you very, very much. I'm done.